Once upon a time, Team Fortress 2 released updates with some form of regularity. However, in recent years, the rate at which we've received updates has slowed dramatically. Last year, we only received 2 quote-unquote major updates, and the last huge update we received was Jungle Inferno, way back in the October of 2017. I hope we receive a nice big content update soon, as it will be a nice revitalization for the loyal community TF2 still has. So I figured I could talk about update features I'd like to see added into possible future updates. The things I'd like to see don't necessarily have to be part of one singular update, but rather different updates, as they cover a variety of different TF2 elements, including game modes, maps, weapons, and various smaller little changes too. I've made videos on some of these topics where I go more in depth as to what I'd like, so these are going to be more summaries of updates I'd like to see. Primarily, I'd like to see MVM updated. Over anything in TF2, MVM is probably my favourite thing to play in TF2. However, the lack of official maps can make the entire experience repetitive or boring, with most people, myself included, playing 2 cities for the chance to get a beautiful, shiny Australian weapon. While yes, there are community maps and community MVM groups such as Potato's custom MVM servers, the community server tab is rarely looked at and is still set in sort of 2003, so it can be really awkward to navigate if you're new to the game. However, with Potato's custom MVM servers, they host custom campaigns such as Canteen Crashers and Madness vs Machines. They've promoted these custom operations before, which makes me think that there is a possible MVM update in the future. Obviously Valve, they've promoted these community created operations instead of putting out an update for MVM. So if they keep doing this, it's technically still them supporting it, which is it's good in my book. When I think of possible MVM updates, my mind always goes back to Operation Iron Gauntlet. Iron Gauntlet was a collaborative workshop project similar to Mayan and Frontline, where creators would make their own assets or maps that would fit the theme of Iron Gauntlet. This theme was more robotic, MVM themed, where they would have new MVM maps and enemies to fight. In my perfect MVM based update, they would add at least 2 new operations, each with some unique robots and bosses that could utilise the new weapons which have been added to the game since MVM last updated. New class-specific upgrades such as heavy spin-up time and increased vis time for the spy would also be featured in this update to add a new style of play to the game, which has become pretty stated with its own secure meta that has only been shaken up really by the Jungle Inferno update. New cosmetics are obviously released with this update, and they could be available as rewards in these new operations as well as in your classic Robo cosmetic crate. Something less likely to happen as an update, but personally would like to see, is more medieval maps or a more medieval focused update. The features prevalent in medieval mode make it the only medieval style and melee weapons can be used, and the chat takes on a certain medieval flair. Personally, I love knights in the medieval period, Europe specifically, so I would love to see some new medieval or fantasy style maps and cosmetics which keeps the features of medieval weaponry and chat effects, as is in the De Groot Keep map. Now this is very unlikely, but maybe a sort of D&D crossed with MVM style operation, where a team of 6 people go on a medieval player versus entity or PvE adventure. Maybe that operation is unlikely, but I can dream, right? Right? Yeah. However, the heavy update is most likely the update we'll be seeing next, and is widely regarded as the next TF2 update. Seeing as Pyro won his update first, that would be Jungle Inferno. He got his balance changes, he got his new weapons, but the Heavy did get a banana, which is nice of them. So it makes sense that even though Heavy lost, he will still get his update. This whole contest was just to see who gets their update first. They're both still getting their updates, they're supposed to be getting their reworks, but it was just to see which the community wanted first, and Pyro won. Jungle Inferno was the Pyro update, and this added and tweaked the Pyro class, who is still mostly seen as OP, even though you can easily counter. This heavy update will give new items to the heavy, which will hopefully shake up the heavy's playstyle and versatility in the game, as he is really just a damage absorbing tank. So maybe something to shake his playstyle, like the running speedy gloves. I forget what they're called, but you know what I mean. And somebody who was recently taken to playing the heavy quite a bit, I'm very excited for the possibilities of a heavy update. Personally, I'd like to see a sort of ammo crate, which acts in the same vein as a sandwich. How the sandwich gives you health, this ammo crate could give you more ammo for your weapons. I know this is a popular concept and many people have talked about this idea being added to the heavy update. I personally agree with it. I think it's a great idea. But I'd also like to see the heavy get a different type of melee weapon that isn't his fists, because right now the majority of his weapons that aren't all class are punching based, so I figured like some sort of handheld weapon exclusive to him would be quite nice. However, a new challenger has entered the ring. Very, very recently, within a few days recently, Tyler McVicker, aka Valve's News Network, uploaded a video regarding when and what the next major TF2 update could involve. A release window of July is given, with the update not being the heavy update, which is surprising, but rather a space-themed one, set in the roots of the OG vanilla TF2 experience from when the game was first released in 2011/2008. Now space is pretty freaking cool, and vanilla TF2 is an experience we will never get back. So the fact that they're trying to recapture this experience with a more space-themed update excites me greatly, because they had a very rigid art style that they would stick to, which they've deviated from now. But the 60s, I believe, is when the game is set, is a pretty interesting time in history. So I'd like to see what they could do with the sci-fi space theme of the 60s. Now TF2 has various space-themed items already, and the possibilities of space items, space cosmetics are nigh on limitless. So when you think space and you think TF2, my mind personally always goes to RD_asteroid, which is a still unreleased map where you would go around an asteroid base destroying robots. So maybe this space update will finally finish and complete Robot Destruction Asteroid. Now that would be pretty cool, because it would mean a new game mode for us. And while it only has one map, maybe this update includes a few more maps for Robot Destruction to be played. Space is cool, so I'm excited to see what space-themed assets we will receive in the name of maps, unusual effects, cosmetics, weapons. However, Tyler also reported that the TF team are working to redo the community server tab. As I mentioned earlier, it was made in 2003, and it can be really awkward to navigate if you're new to TF2. So this refresh will really revitalize community servers, I hope. So things such as Potato's custom MVM servers will become more popular, and may even be added to the official Valve MVM rotation, which is something they've been talking about doing with community maps since 2017. This revitalization of community maps is much needed after the disaster that was Meet Your Match, which kind of butchered TF2's community servers, unfortunately. Many of the servers I used to play on just died because they weren't getting players anymore because of the way Valve handled Meet Your Match. It was awful. So yeah, and I think just some nice quality of life changes as well, like a refreshed UI, a more modern looking UI, the ability to cycle through your backpack using hotkeys like A and D. I know there are HUDs that do this, but I think it should be a feature that's in the base game itself. Just sort of small quality of life changes that make the TF2 experience more enjoyable. Maybe objective pinging, so you could ping like certain objectives to your teammates to help better communicate what you're going to do. Obviously, you don't have to go for the objective in TF2. I mean, many CTF maps just go on forever because no one can be bothered to go get the objective because they're having too much fun in what's essentially a deathmatch. So yeah. Personally, MVM is what I would like to see focused on, as that is my favourite, so I am biased in that regard. But I'd be happy with any big content updates TF2 gets. Yes, I like cosmetics as much as the next guy, and we will probably be getting a summer cosmetic case soon, as they did take the Valve servers down twice on the Friday, 21st of June. So the TF2 servers went down, and then they added new tracking things which would track how many wins how many kills, how many times you score over 10 points in a match, I believe. So something interesting is coming. And if the next update isn't the heavy update and it's a space-themed update, I mean, I'm excited either way. TF2 is getting a content update. That's going to be hella lit. And by July, I will have been paid, so I can, you know, do some spicy unboxings. Hell yeah. But yeah, whatever update we get next, I'm hella excited. I hope it doesn't just adding more medals and updating community files and whatnot. You know, the localization files. Oh boy, we love getting them updated, don't we, lads? Anyway, what would you like to see as an update for Team Fortress 2? Let me know down below. I'm excited to read your guys' ideas for TF2 updates. Would you like to see an MVM update? Would you like to see a medieval update? And what are your hopes for the heavy update? So yeah, if you've got anything you'd like to throw in on there, just comment down below, like the video. It really pushes it out to more people, so maybe we can get more of a discussion going around these kind of things. If not, that's fine anyway. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, oh, I've been up for like 2 hours. 2 hours. Yo, bitch came through, took a few showers. I don't bop, I just money dance, yeah. That wristwatch costs 100 grand.